What is up, YouTube? Zukium1 here, and I am back with a brand new YouTube video. Today we are going to be showcasing you guys my Justimon list for EX9. So for those of you guys who's been following the channel for quite some time, you guys know that I am a huge Justimon enjoyer. We've kind of had a struggle period with the deck. We really haven't been able to find some real identity or real synergies with the deck, and I think, don't quote me on this, but I think I've crafted Da Vinci's Code here, guys, and I'm gonna share my deck with you guys today, and I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comment sections below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. Now, just for a quick shout out, this deck was inspired by one of the Justimon pioneers, Ismail. Put their name right here in the it's going to be right up here. You'll see their name. They're part of this Digimon Facebook group that really innovated a lot of Justimon tech over the years, while he was just down in the dumps, just straight garbage juice. Nobody wants to play with the character at all. He found a way to really innovate the deck and find ways to continue to try to make it work, even in the most sweatiest of metas. So shout outs to you, sir. You are a true pioneer. So I borrowed a few ideas from him, did some tweaks of my own, but for the most part, our decks are kind of similar, not exactly the same. But if you guys are interested in checking out some of their stuff, you can go find them on that Facebook group. I put a link to it in the description of the in the comment section of the video. I'll pin it, so that way you guys can join the discussions about decks and other stuff like that. But I'm talking you guys' ear off. You guys are here for a deck profile. Let me go ahead and get into it. So right off the bat, we are back with the Dorimons. Dorimons just happen to be one of the best eggs for black in general, for the most part. And this Dorimon particularly has a lot of synergy with this deck, and we're going to get into that in just a bit. But the inheritable is, when an effect places a Digivolution card under this Digimon, draw one card. So very good draw engine inside the deck, and we'll get over that in just a bit on how you go about utilizing that. Next, we are playing the singular Floodgate, the Cherubimon, Chukurimon. Sorry, Cherubimon is a big bunny. Chukurimon has the effect, all turns players can't reduce the play cost. This is just solely for your matchup into Royal Knights, obviously, but it also has some other implications that help you be able to prevent people from just slamming big bodies on the board, like Medieval Galamon, for instance, and other things like that, right? So people have to pay the full cost if they want to play those types of floodgates, and that's why you're still you're running the one individual Chukurimon. Plus, it's a black Digimon, so you can Digivolve over it. The difference between my list and Isaiah, Ismail, is that Ismail wanted run Solarmon instead. I don't agree with the Solarmon, because the Solarmon is red, can't Digivolve over it, can't really do much with it. It's just a Floodgate rookie. With this guy, you can Digivolve over it, you can use it to swing with, and you know, he's just a good Floodgate to sit on the board for a little bit until they eventually get rid of him, right? So the one Floodgate, obviously the mainstay of the deck is the Hagurimons. The Hagurimons are just so good. This is from BT15. It has the on-play effect, search the top 3. You can grab a machine or cyborg. Most of your deck are machines and cyborgs. There are a few exceptions, such as your Dorimon, but besides that, oh yeah, Dorimon and your Chukurimon. So the techs in the deck are not, you can't search those guys, but besides them, everybody else is perfectly searchable. So he could potentially be a double hit, because he also grabs a black tamer and adds it to your hand. Now, Right now, that's not exactly what you want to do with the Hagurumon, because you really don't want to search the tamers. And the reason why is because you don't have a way to cheat out the tamers from your hand. You're just searching the tamers to slam the tamers. And like, that's not bad per se, but it's not good economics. You know what I mean? Like, there are way better ways to spend your memory and things of that nature. So you kind of just use him to search for bodies, and to also use for his X Antibody form, which is Hagurumon X Antibody. When digivolving, so it only gets it when digivolving. You can't slam it to get it. But when digivolving, you can get a token with 1,000 attack and with 1,000 DP. It has blocker and decoy. And his inheritable is he gives you blocker. And this inheritable gives you reboot. So both of these two got super powerful keywords that can just make for a good like mushroom soup for your Justimon. So always really, really good, guys. But now onto the more spicier side of things. We are running 4 copies of the Dorimon. Now in Ismail list, he runs 2 copies, but I prefer the 4 because this is the Digimon you want to put in the breeding area. The reason why is because of its inheritable. You can use the on-play effect as well, and we'll go over that in just a second, but the inheritable is really what's important, which is once per turn, when you place a Digivolution card under this Digimon, gain 1 memory. So with the Dorimon and the Dorimon, so Dorumon and Dorimon, you can gain 1, draw 1. So you're basically running Cool Boys without needing to run Cool Boys in your deck. So a lot of great synergy between those two, obviously, because that's its own evolution line, right? But Machine Dramon use it, and a whole lot of other decks use it because it just has really good synergy. So definitely a really good engine to be able to use inside your Justimon deck. The on-play effect is reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 X Antibody trait and 1 of its tamers Dakota to your hand, and replace the rest at the bottom of your deck. You got a couple X Antibody traits. You got the Hagurumons, you got the Justimon X Antibody, and that's pretty much it. So that's like 6 hits. But again, you're never really doing the on-play effect unless you're playing it from off the Black Scramble. So yeah, I don't know if that's really worth, you know, to do versus putting it in a breeding area. That's just my opinion. Obviously, you play the deck however you want to, but me personally, I would always put Dorimon in the breeding area and just slam the Hagurumons. Next up, we got 4 Hover SBmons. Now, originally I was running the newer versions of the Hover SBmons because they have an inheritable, but this one is just far better. You basically digivolve over any Digimon for 1 if you flip up a Digimon in their security. And if it's not a Digimon in your in the top security, you draw a card, and you can basically stack your opponent's security to hit what you want to hit. So if it's a Digimon and you know you can beat it, you can leave it up at the top of the security and then swing right into it. If it's an option, you can put that option to the bottom of the security and know that you have to deal with that option that's coming, or a tamer that's coming, right? You can stack your opponent's security to benefit you instead of benefiting your opponent. So that's why you run the SBmons. That plus it also has blocker, and it can be deleted by your opponent's effect. So the guy is just really good, right? Like, he just does everything that you would probably want from a level 4, and he's pretty cheap, right? At the evolution cost of 2 or potentially 1, depending on the situation. And actually, you can even set up a situation where you can promote one of your Digimons from the breeding area, and then trigger a defense training to digivolve into the Hover SBmon, and then the Hover SBmon effect will trigger. You reveal a Digimon and then gain a memory, right? So that's, you know, 1. So instead of digivolving for free, you digivolve and gain 1. Imagine that, right? So you gain 1 and draw 1 just off the defense training and the rookie. So really good combination. Probably one of your best 4s to run in the deck. That's why we're running him at 4. Next up, we got Blimpmon. Blimpmon is just a good level 4. It has the on play / when Digivolve effect. One of your opponent's Digimons can't attack until the end of the turn. That also includes effects that where they like you can attack suspended or unsuspended. The only time that this doesn't apply is if there's an effect that's forcing the other Digimon to attack, because the Digimon isn't attacking, it's resolving the other Digimon's effect. I know that sounds confusing, but it's not attacking, it's resolving an effect which involves that Digimon attacking. Semantics, I know, but otherwise this guy is an insanely powerful level 4 because he gets to just straight up tell somebody, no, you can't attack, period. You just gotta wait a turn, right? That can really help you set up for a lot of different types of situations. And if you're about to get flooded, you can also drop your Cyberdramon Ace, right? Cyberdramon Ace is probably one of the best aces in the game, and we'll get into that in just a second. Just let me go back over the Blimpmon Inheritable because I did kind of brush over that. It has reboot as well, and the reason why you run him at 2 instead of like a higher number count is because you already have reboot with the Hagurimon, so you don't really need that Inheritable that badly. And you know, besides that, he's just a really good solid level 4. So but on to the 5s, we got the Cyberdramon Ace. It has the on play / when Digivolve in effect. Reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. After you reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, you can play a I think it's a Black Tamer, specifically a Black Tamer. Yeah, you can play 1 Black Tamer with the play cost of 4 or less, and then you can return the top cards of your of the reveal either back to the top of your deck so you can stack your draws, or you can put it to the bottom if it's not synergistic to what you have currently in front of you. So a lot of power coming out of this guy. Plus he also has the inheritable of when attacking once per turn, de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. Now we did have a Cyberdramon that did offer this effect, but you needed tamers. It was tied with tamers, meaning you needed to have tamers already established on board before you start benefiting from those effects. This one just straight says, nope, just start de-digivolving Digimon, right? So this helps you prevent bumping into a lot of ace plays in Justimon because you have the Cyberdramon Inheritable. And that's pretty impactful because the Cyberdramon is an ace, right? So you can overflow with him, which is pretty bad, right? You don't want to overflow, so you want to try to avoid those types of situations if possible. And he just really helps to make those types of situations happen. Also, the rest of the on play effect is on play / when Digivolve effect. If you have a tamer in play, so that also triggers off of his effect, by the way, because he sees the tamer at the resolution of his effect. So if you play a tamer off his effect, or you already have a tamer in play, you can de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. So you get to de-digivolve off the on play / when digivolving, and then you get to de-digivolve when you swing with it as an inheritable. So a lot of control from this one card, which is why you run him at 4. Eventually we might reconsider him when we get the new Rise Greymons that come in BT22, which allows you to play the tamers out of your hands for free, 4 or lower. But you know, every impactful tamer is 4 or lower, so you're definitely going to be able to get a lot of mileage out of that guy. So we might switch over to that. We just gotta wait and see. More play testing on the way, obviously. Next up, we have the Megadramon. So Megadramon has an on-play effect / when Digivolve in. You can put a card from your trash to the bottom, face down source, and if you do, you can pop level 4s. play cost of 4 or lower on your opponent's side of the board. So that can pop some aces and stuff like that, and it can also pop a couple champions and rookies and things of that nature. But what it also does is it triggers your inheritables on your Doraemon and your Doraemon and Dorumon. So that's another way to be able to trigger the effect off of your combo right here. And also it has the inheritable, and this is the main reason why you're running him, that by unsuspending this Digimon, delete one of your Digimons with the lowest level. So what you essentially want to happen is you want a Hagurimon on board, and then go into a Hagurimon X antibody. That's going to produce a token. Then you get up to your Justimon. Justimon will swing. He'll trash your option to unsuspend. He'll swing again. You will delete the token from the Hagurimon X antibody and unsuspend again. Or you can go into your Justimon X antibody and do that same level type of play. And the Justimon X antibody actually is not super dependent on your Justimons in this deck, and we'll go over that in just a second as well. So your Justimon X antibody actually can just be Justmon by himself. He doesn't actually need the Justimon to be super impactful. It is nice, but you don't need it basically. But that is your 5s. And you can also play him at a reduced cost because of Supreme Connection, but we'll get over that when we get to the options. So on to the 6s. We got the Justimon. This is the SP version. So if any of you guys got an SP Justimon, hit your boy up, because I'm definitely looking for some of these. But yeah, essentially the effect is on play / when Digivolving, this Digimon gains blocker and isn't affected by your opponent's Digimon effects until the end of your opponent's turn. That is super good, right? Because it allows you to avoid aces. It allows you to not have to worry about being digivolved or dealing with DP minuses. Pretty much just any type of annoying effects that typically make Justimon struggle as a deck. So he answers a lot of all the problems that you have typically in a Justimon deck with just that when digivolving effect. Then it also has the added caveat of by trashing one option card in the battle area. Doesn't specify which side of the board. So you can trash an option card on your opponent's side of the board. So you can get rid of their scrambles, you can get rid of their boosts, you can get rid of like pretty much any setup card that they have on their side of the board, which sets them back a turn or two sometimes, depending on the situation. So super impactful effect, like a really, really good card. The biggest drawback to this guy is the same reason why I was talking about the Cybertron. He's an ace. So if they get rid of him, that is overflow 4. But if you're stacked, and unfortunately this does happen more often than I would like to admit, but sometimes your stack is the Justimon Blitzarm ace and your Cybertron ace, right? And sometimes you don't get punished, and then sometimes you do, and you lose 7 memory. So just know that that can happen. It is not you know, you're typically trying to go for game, but it sometimes can happen, and they can cause a huge swing in your opponent's favor. So just be wary of that. So that's Justimon. And then we got the Critical Arm before we go into the boss monster of the deck. Critical Arm, he's a new guy. He just came out in the tournament packs recently. He has the effect by placing one option card with device trait from your hand or trash. This guy gains 3k DP until the end of your opponent's turn. So that does help out a lot, especially if you have the Rook, because this allows you to gain blocker and reboot. And you're gaining an additional 2k, so you'll be at 5k on this guy. So 17k blocker, not bad, right? And then it also has the effect of when digivolve / when attacking, you can trash one of your option cards in the battle area and then delete one of your opponent's Digimons with the play cost of 9 or less. So this does help you be able to deal with a lot of aces that's sitting on your opponent's side of the board. You can just pop them when attacking, trigger your options effects, and then gain memory for popping those aces. So super solid card, not a super necessary card, but a super solid card, right? So that's why you run him as a one of, because you can search him, you can recycle him off your black scrambles and stuff like that or whatever. So you don't really desperately need multiple copies of this card, but it is nice to have. And then finally for your sixes, we have Justimon X Anybody. Justimon X Anybody has the effects, so he just automatically has these effects without no other interference. He has rush, he has piercing, and he has +1 security. So just those 3 effects alone, that is what he has naturally by himself as a card. Now, outside of that, when attacking, he gains the effect of whatever Justimon he's on top of. So if he's on top of critical arm, he gains the critical arm effects. If he's on top of blitz arm, he gets the blitz arm effects. But he only gets 1 of the when digivolving effects. So the reason why I specify that is because the blitz arm actually has 2 when digivolving effects. The first one is that he can gain immunity, or the second one is to delete an option on your opponent's side of the board or your board to unsuspend. So the ideal situation is that you can swing with the Justimon, trash the option on your opponent's side of the board, unsuspend, and then digivolve into him for 1, swing, and because you digivolved already, you gain the immunity, so you don't need to gain the immunity again for the following turn, but you can on the next turn when you attack. Because just a reminder, I know Justimon typically get his effects when digivolving. This one is different. He only gets his effects when attacking, and only once per turn. So that is the big difference, and that's the part that kind of trips up a lot of new Justimon players, or long stay Justimon players, that his effect isn't not triggered when digivolving, it's when attacking. So just remembering the timing of that effect can definitely make a big difference in terms of your plays when you're playing with this Digimon. And he also has the end of turn, once per turn. If your opponent has a Digimon that's unsuspended, this may attack the player. It doesn't have to necessarily attack the Digimon. It just has to attack. It can attack the player. This sometimes can help you in the game. If they have a rookie on board, you can keep that rookie on board on their side of the board, and then just keep wailing at their security. And then after you cleared out everything, if you can unsuspend again, but you've passed turn, end of turn, you can swing with him for game, essentially like an Omnimon, which is really good, right? Because we can't actually run Omnimon in this deck because all of our Digimon are black. Apparently, Omnimon is racist. He doesn't do black people. Well, black Digimon. Sorry, not black people, black Digimon. I'm trolling. But yeah, Justimon X Anybody is really good, especially when we segue over to our tamers. So we have 2 Shurulins. Now you may be wondering, why are we running Shurulin? Well, she can mind link to an X Anybody Digimon. And did you know Justimon X Anybody is an X Anybody Digimon? Crazy, right? So essentially what you can do is once you get to your Justimon X Anybody, you trigger your Dorimon, your Durimon and Doryumon, gain a memory, draw 1. Then you can alliance with one of the Digimon on your side of the board, get 3 checks, unsuspend, delete the Hagurimon token, swing again, get 3 more checks, trigger the when digivolving effect of the Blitz, and then just swing for game. That's the super ideal scenario. Not gonna happen like that, but it could, right? You do have that situation that can happen like that. The more likely situation that will happen is that you will swing for 3 with the Shurulin, unsuspend off of your Justimon Blitz Arm effect, and then swing for 2 afterwards, because you don't have another body on board to be able to suspend to get a second alliance check. So a lot of damage coming out of that one tamer. Plus she gives you a reboot if you don't already have one in your sources, because you just hard played your Justimon off your Supreme Connection. And again, I swear we're gonna get to the Supreme Connection. I just need to go over every single card and how they work together in terms of in tandem with each other. So the Shualin is a super valuable tamer in this deck, just because she mind links and gives the Alliance and reboot, on top of the fact that she triggers your Dorimons to draw in game one. So really cool tamer. Next up, we got the Ataman. I think that's how you say his name, or Atil. He's a min fixer as well, but at the start of your turn, if you have a black Digimon with Cyborg or Machine, so that's the Hagurimons, and that is your Hover Espimon. So you got a lot of different ways to trigger his effect. To when you promote, he can put a cost 4 or lower Cyborg or Machine from your trash into the source of your Digimon. Now you're starting to see the synergies, right? Because you can go Dorimon into Doryumon into Hover Espimon past turn with 2. Then, or you can go, it'll more than likely go Doryumon Atil. Then you promote these two, go into this guy, and then you can go into the Megadramon, put something in the source, gain 1, draw 1, and pop something. So it just depends, right? He just has a lot of good synergy with the deck, and that's why we're running 2 copies of him, because he does come up quite a bit to constantly keep giving you draw 1, gain 1, draw 1, gain 1 at the start of your turn. A lot of good synergy there. Next and finally for our tamers, we have 2 Kazus. Now, some of you might be wondering, what the fuck are you running Kazus for? Well, Kazu gives you 1 memory at the start of your turn if you control a Cyborg or Machine. Hey, guess what? All of our dudes are Cyborgs or Machine except 1 and 2, right? So you're gonna always get an extra memory off of this guy, and on top of that, he has to add a benefit of when a Cyborg or Machine suspend, doesn't have to be an attack, it could even be a block. If they suspend while he's on the board, you get to draw 1. So that's really good, because blocking or attacking, you get to draw 1, but you also have to discard 1, but that helps you set up your trash to combo with your Atil. So you see, there's a lot of synergy going on with the deck, right? Like everything kind of works in tandem with each other, and this is probably the most synergistic Justimon list I've created thus far. Next up, we are on to the options. We finally made it to the finish line, guys. We got 2 Queen's Device, just a really good defensive card. When it comes out of security, 2 of your opponent's Digimons get -2 security checks. So really like solid security bomb, like an amazing security bomb. Then it has the effect, main, you can play this card if you don't have another Queen's Device not meeting the color requirements. You don't need a tamer, you don't need a Digimon, you can just play this card if you don't have another Queen's Device on board. Then it has the effect on play, it has the effect apply -3k to a Digimon, and then one of your opponent's Digimon cannot use their when Digivolving effects until the end of their turn, which is super impactful, especially for a 3-cost option. This card is insanely powerful, and you're probably going to see this pop up a lot more in more yellow control or yellow security decks, so be on the lookout for this card. Next up, and finally, the card that I've been alluding to this whole entire video, Supreme Connection. So Supreme Connection has the effect, search the top 5 cards of your deck, you can grab a Cyborg or Machine, add it to your hand, and then you discard 1 Cyborg or Machine that you revealed out of the 5 and put it into your discard pile, and you set up the top 3 cards that's left to, stack your draw. Now, the reason why this card is so insane is not only is it a search, but on the following turn, you can trash this card to be able to play out one of your Cyborg or Machines for a reduced cost of 3. So your Cybergemon, which costs 5 to on play, now only costs 2. And your Justimon, which costs 6 to on play, now only costs 3. Right? So now you have a lot more situations of being able to go directly into your plays without needing to build a stack. So you can create these types of scenarios where you go directly into damage without needing to do a whole lot of setup. And you may be wondering, well, I just played the Justimon. How am I supposed to be able to get his effect right now if I just triggered the effect? Well, thankfully, your Justimon X Antibody has Rush, right? So because he has Rush, and if you pass the turn over with 1 by Digivolving into him, he can still attack. So you get 2 checks for hard playing your level 6 and then immediately Digivolving into his better form. And yeah, just stalks after that, right? So this card is insanely powerful in this deck, and it can help you be able to swing a lot of matches in your favor, and at any point in time you can have some type of board presence. One of the hardest parts about playing Justimon was that you just didn't have any board presence, and that there was a lot of times where you just couldn't do a lot of things. So the Supreme Connection just allows you to be able to set up and immediately start playing your turn without having to build up a stack and wait and then promote and then do stuff, right? You can immediately go into your plays. You can immediately make some impact on your opponent. So I really like this Supreme Connection. It's really, really good card. That's why it's at 3. Next, we got 2 Rook devices. Same as the Queen's device. If you don't have another Rook device, you don't need to meet the color requirements. You can just play this card. But obviously we do meet the color requirements because 90% of the deck is black. But you can play this card if you don't have any other Rook devices. And then it has the effect, main, you can give one of your Digimons blocker, retaliation, and 2k DP. And then if this card is trash, just like the Queen's device, you trigger their main effect again, which in this case you give somebody blocker, reboot, and 2k DP again. So you can trigger the effect on play and then trash it and then use that effect and apply it to another Digimon or apply it to the same Digimon to give it a 4k boost. So really good card. Plus the security effect, insane. De-Digivolve a Digimon by 2 and then add this card to your hand. Super, 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 super good. Super good. Just Then we got 2 black scrambles. Most of you guys probably already know what this does, but I'll go over it really quickly in case it's your first time. Main, one of your black Digimons can Digivolve into a Digimon for the reduced cost of 3. Then you place this card in your battle area, and then at the start of your turn, if your opponent controls a Digimon, you can trash this card from your battle area to place a card to the top of your deck. Place a Digimon card at the top of your deck, and then if they control a Digimon, you can. If you don't control a Digimon, you can play a 2k DP or lower Digimon from your trash. So that can be the Hagurimons, that can be the Hagurimon X Antibody, that can be the Dorimon, right? So all of these guys could be played back. The only person who can get played back is your Chukurimon. So you can't go into a floodgate off that card, but for the most part, all of your rookies are alive from off that one card. So really, really good. Plus it also helps you set up for your following turn. And then it also has the security effect of just play out a body, 2k or lower, and then add this card to your hand. So pretty good. Then we have the defense training. Search the top 2 cards, add a black card from your deck to your hand. That could be a Tamer, that could be an option, that could be a Digimon, doesn't matter, just as long as it's black. Add it to your hand, and then delay, reduce the next Digivolution cost by 2. By the way, just another little tidbit in case you didn't know this, the Black Scramble, you can activate this even if you don't have a Digimon to Digivolve into, because it's just reducing the cost. So it doesn't have to necessarily do it on a Digimon. You're just saying that I would reduce the cost of a Digimon by 3, and then you can place it in the battle area. So if you don't have a good way to pass turn, and you don't want to give your opponent too much memory, this is a good way to be able to pass your opponent with 1 if you're at 1, because you know you can just activate this, pass it over to 1, and then in your turn. So that is that. I think I've covered every single combo route, possibility, and synergies in the deck. If I forgot anything, please don't hesitate to drop something down in the comment section below. But this has been Zuki M1, and I hope you guys have a great morning, great evening, great afternoon, and great night. But I will catch you guys in the next video. The next video is going to be matches with this deck. So if you're super excited for some more Justimon action, make sure to check that out. But until then, peace.